What if that relief you feel when plans get canceled isn't laziness, but intelligence? What if it isn't a flaw in your personality, but your nervous system finally getting what it's been asking for? You've done it before. You cancel something, or it gets canceled for you. And instead of guilt, instead of disappointment, there's this quiet exhale. Like your chest just dropped 10 pounds. And then, almost immediately, another thought shows up. Why am I like this? Why don't I want to go? Why do other people seem energized by this? Let's slow this down. Because nothing is wrong with you. But something is happening. And once you understand what that relief actually means, you stop shaming yourself for it.
What if plans fall through? That's not irresponsibility. That's not antisocial behavior. That's your nervous system coming out of anticipation mode. When we agree to social plans, especially stimulating ones, our brain doesn't just show up on the day, it starts preparing in advance. It anticipates noise, conversation, emotional processing, decision-making, facial expression management, body language, small talk, energy exchange. And for some people, that preparation costs more. Not because they're weak, but because they process more. More subtle emotional shifts, more micro-expressions, more tone changes, more social cues. So, when the event disappears, the system that was gearing up finally stands down, and the body feels safe again. That safety feels like relief.
Quietly taught that wanting to be alone is suspicious. If you prefer your own company, someone will eventually suggest, "Are you okay? Did something happen? Are you depressed?" We've built a social narrative where constant presence equals health, and absence equals damage. But that framing misses something important. Yes, humans are wired for connection. Research by John Cacioppo showed that chronic loneliness activates pain pathways in the brain, similar to physical injury. Connection matters, but needing connection and needing constant stimulation are not the same thing. There's a difference between isolation and chosen solitude, and we rarely talk about that difference.
Let's call her Maya. Late 20s? Smart? Competent? Not shy? Not depressed? She likes people. But every time a group trip gets planned, she feels dread building a week before it happens. She goes anyway. Every time. Because not going feels like a moral failure. She comes back exhausted. And sleep doesn't fix it. She assumes she's just not social enough. She believes there's a more evolved version of herself she hasn't grown into yet. But here's what she doesn't know. Some nervous systems are built differently.
Psychologist Elaine Aron identified something called the highly sensitive person trait. About 15 to 20% of people fall into this category. It's not fragility. It's depth of processing. Their brains literally engage more neural activity during emotional and sensory tasks. That means more reflection, more pattern recognition, more meaning making, but also more fatigue. Imagine running 10 background programs while everyone else runs 5. You'll finish the day more drained. Not because you're worse at functioning, but because you were processing more information the entire time. So when Maya comes home from that trip and needs 3 days alone, She's not antisocial. She's recovering.
Now, let's be honest. Solitude can be healthy, but it can also be a hiding place. There's a difference between recharging and retreating. Recharging feels restorative. You emerge clearer, more regulated, more connected to yourself. Retreating feels like relief that slowly turns flat. You feel numb, detached, more disconnected from others than before. The difference isn't about time alone. It's about the emotional quality of it. And only you can really tell which one you're experiencing.
Here's something most people never articulate. When you consistently override your need for quiet, you start living slightly outside yourself. You go to the party. You answer every call. You fill every silence. You say yes when your body says no. And the exhaustion builds. But you blame work. You blame adulthood. You blame stress. You never consider that maybe you've been performing a version of connection that doesn't match your wiring. That kind of self-betrayal doesn't feel dramatic. It feels subtle, like a low hum of fatigue that never leaves.
Psychologist Reed Larson studied how voluntary solitude affects people. He found something interesting. When solitude is chosen, not forced, not isolating, people return to social life in better moods, with more clarity, more self-awareness, more emotional regulation. The key word is chosen. When you choose to step inward, you're not escaping connection. You're strengthening your capacity for it. Because intimacy requires presence. And presence requires energy. Let's talk about what solitude gives you that noise doesn't. When you're alone long enough without distraction, your mind starts surfacing unfinished thoughts, unprocessed feelings, unanswered questions, values you've been ignoring. In silence, your inner life becomes audible. You notice what actually matters to you. You interrogate your own opinions. You realize where you were just agreeing with the room. Solitude gives you cognitive independence. In a world constantly trying to influence you, that independence is rare and powerful. Think of your nervous system like a battery. Some batteries drain slower in social settings. Some drain faster. If yours drains faster, pretending it doesn't won't make it stronger. It just leaves you depleted. When plans get canceled and you feel relief, that's not weakness. That's a signal. Your system saying, thank you. Not because people are bad, but because stimulation costs you more. And honoring that cost is maturity, not dysfunction.
Here's something else worth noticing. We live in a world that profits from your stimulation. Endless scrolling, notifications, content loops. Platforms engineered to make stillness feel unbearable. Silence now feels unnatural. So choosing to sit alone with your thoughts, without distraction, is almost rebellious. And many people don't like how that feels at first. Because in quiet, there's nowhere to hide from yourself. But that discomfort isn't always danger. Sometimes it's depth.
Ask yourself 3 questions. When I'm alone, do I feel restored afterward? Do I gain clarity? Do I feel more open to connection once I've had enough quiet? If yes, your solitude is nourishment. If you feel more numb, more avoidant, more detached, then it may be protective withdrawal. Neither answer is shameful. Both are information.
The real transformation happens when you stop asking, "What's wrong with me?" and start asking, "What does my nervous system need?" That shift moves you from self-judgment to self-understanding, from shame to strategy, from apology to alignment. Maya eventually stopped forcing every group trip. She started declining selectively, not dramatically, not defensively, just honestly. She discovered something unexpected. The people who truly valued her respected her boundaries, and the ones who didn't were benefiting from her overextension. That clarity changed everything.
One more thing. Don't turn this into a label. You're not the loner. You're not the introvert. You're a human regulating energy. Some days you'll crave people. Some days you won't. Flexibility is health. Rigidity is not. The healthiest people move inward and outward fluidly, like breathing. In, out. Connection. Solitude. Both matter.
If you've ever secretly celebrated canceled plans, if you've ever felt more yourself in quiet than in crowds, if you've ever wondered why socializing feels heavier for you than it does for others, there's nothing broken here. There's wiring. There's temperament. There's energy management. And there's a culture that never taught you how to interpret it correctly. You don't need to become louder. You don't need to apologize for needing space. You don't need to pathologize your preference. You need to understand it. Use it. And stop hiding it. Because the only real mistake is spending years defending something that was never wrong in the first place.
If this didn't just make sense intellectually, but felt familiar somewhere deeper, that quiet recognition matters. It means you're paying attention. And the people who pay attention to their inner world live more deliberately. If you want more deep dives into psychology like this, subscribe. Because understanding yourself isn't self-indulgence, it's self-respect. And most people never give themselves that permission.